Tom Cruise opens up about how he relaxes, learning new skills, and his legacy ahead of Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning. When it comes to action movies, few names resonate as loudly and consistently as Tom Cruise. Known for his ageless charm, gravity-defying stunts, and a relentless commitment to his craft, Cruise has built a career spanning over 4 decades without ever losing momentum. At 62, when most actors start to scale back their on-screen exploits, Cruise is pushing the boundaries of action cinema once again with Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning, the highly anticipated 8th installment of the globally renowned spy thriller franchise. But behind the scenes, beyond the explosions, car chases, skydives, and breakneck motorcycle stunts, is a man who still finds childlike joy in learning, experimenting, and simply pressing piano keys, even if he can't truly play. "I don't play. I hit the keys," the piano confession. In a recent candid interview, Cruise opened a rare window into his personal life. Asked how he decompresses after physically demanding shoots and mentally taxing schedules, the megastar offered a surprising yet endearing answer. "I wouldn't say play," he said with a laugh. "I enjoy hitting the keys. I find it relaxing." To imagine Cruise, the man who has clung to the outside of a moving plane, scaled the Burj Khalifa, and performed a halo jump from 25,000 feet, unwinding by randomly tapping piano keys, is both ironic and heartwarming. It's not the polished, disciplined hobby one might expect from someone who has mastered martial arts choreography and piloted fighter jets. Instead, it's messy, unstructured, and entirely human. This image of Cruise at a piano, pressing keys with no rhythm or knowledge, paints a picture of a man who, despite his fame, fortune, and formidable resume, still finds comfort in the simplicity of sound and the freedom to play without expectation. The unstoppable drive to learn. Cruise's unconventional piano sessions are just one example of his passion for learning, an attribute that has not only defined his approach to acting but also shaped his worldview. "I'm habitual of learning new skills," he explained. "And whatever I learn, I try to implement in my movies in some way." This ethos has been central to his evolution as an action star. From mastering complex aerial maneuvers for Top Gun Maverick to taking dance classes to better understand human emotion and body mechanics, Cruise treats every film as an opportunity to grow. "I learn dance because I'm interested in that art form," he said. "The teachers understand how to move a body, what the shape does, and the emotion it can create in others." It's a fascinating insight into how he approaches his performances, not merely as physical displays of strength or stamina, but as emotional expressions conveyed through movement and precision. This holistic approach to acting sets him apart from many of his peers. For Cruise, a stunt is never just a stunt, it's storytelling through motion. Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning, a swan song of high-octane brilliance. As he gears up for the release of Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning, fans and critics alike are bracing for what may be his most daring film to date. Scheduled to hit theaters on May 23rd, the film reunites Cruise with longtime co-stars Simon Pegg and Ving Rhames, promising an emotional send-off to a franchise that has redefined action cinema over the past 28 years. From its inception in 1996, the Mission Impossible franchise has stood as a beacon of practical effects, high production value, and jaw-dropping action sequences. With each installment, Cruise has upped the ante, not just for himself but for the entire genre. Whether it's hanging from cliffs, sprinting across rooftops, or clinging to the outside of a plane during takeoff, his dedication is as legendary as it is dangerous. The 8th installment, however, isn't just another sequel. It's a culmination, a narrative and physical crescendo meant to cap off one of the most iconic roles of Cruise's career. Early insiders hint that the film contains his most death-defying stunt yet, a sequence so complex it took months of planning and involved a motorcycle jump off a cliff, ending in a parachute-free base dive. "Every time we do one of these films, I tell myself, this one has to top the last," Cruise said. "It's not just about spectacle, it's about innovation, emotion, and delivering something the audience has never seen before." Why he still does his own stunts. The question on everyone's mind is simple: why? Why would a man in his 60s still risk life and limb when digital effects could do the job? For Cruise, the answer is equally simple: authenticity. "The audience can tell," he said. "They know when it's fake. They know when the actor isn't really there, or when something's been computer-generated. I want to give them the real thing, every time." It's a philosophy born from an old-school approach to filmmaking, one rooted in trust between the artist and the audience. Cruise believes that when you put your body on the line, when you make it real, the viewer feels it. And he's right. There's a visceral thrill in watching a scene knowing the actor you're seeing on screen is actually doing it. It heightens the stakes, deepens the immersion, and creates a bond between performer and viewer that CGI simply can't replicate. Tom Cruise and the art of reinvention. Beyond the stunts, the explosions, and the action, Tom Cruise's enduring appeal lies in his ability to reinvent. From the cocky fighter pilot Maverick to the brooding hitman in Collateral, from the charming Jerry Maguire to the unbreakable Ethan Hunt, Cruise has navigated genres and decades with agility. But his off-screen persona remains largely shrouded in mystery. He rarely talks about his personal life, chooses to stay private about his family, and often eschews the Hollywood party circuit. In a world where most celebrities live their lives out loud on social media, Cruise remains one of the last enigmas of old Hollywood. And perhaps that's part of his magic. He gives everything to his films, asking nothing in return except that audiences buckle in and go on the ride with him. Legacy of a legend. At 62, Cruise shows no signs of slowing down. With Mission Impossible, The Final Reckoning, he's not just offering one last hurrah. He's setting a standard for what action films can and should be. He's reminding the world that cinema is still a place for awe, wonder, and fearless ambition. But even as he prepares for the global press tour, promotional rounds, and the whirlwind of red carpets, there's a piano waiting for him. Somewhere in a quiet room, where he can sit, hit the keys, and just be. Because even legends need a way to unwind. Conclusion: the man, the myth, the maverick. Tom Cruise is more than just an actor. He's a performer, a storyteller, a risk-taker, and above all, a perpetual student of life. Whether he's learning to dance, tapping on a piano, or launching himself off cliffs for our entertainment, he brings a rare sincerity and commitment to everything he does. In an era of green screens and motion capture suits, Cruise stands alone, an old-school star who still believes in the magic of movies, the thrill of authenticity, and the power of hard work. So the next time you see him on screen, flying through the air or racing against time, remember, it's not just action. It's an art form. One he spent his entire life perfecting.